Sup flappers, welcome back to another video, and today I am back with a new guide. And I know I haven't made a lot of these in the recent times. It's mostly because most of those characters that have been released I feel like don't really need me to go too hard on optimizing them, and oftentimes people have figured them out pretty easily. But Eula is definitely one of those characters that I can guarantee you, even if you go into the abyss with her level 80, with a level 90 weapon, high talents, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have the right team setup, and even if you don't have the right rotations of skills, you're gonna end up struggling. All right, and I know that for a fact because that was the same for me. That was the same for a lot of my viewers back when she first came out. It's not as straightforward as it would seem, and honestly, it takes a bit of finessing, and that's truly where the beauty of this character lies, is that there's this complexity about her, yet it seems so effortless when people who knows how to play her demonstrate her, right? So with that said, allow me to introduce to you guys some of the best Eula teams that you guys could be running in current Genshin 2.3. So of course it's going to include characters that I failed to mention previously because they weren't out yet. And remember to like and subscribe, as I'm giving away 2 Albedos, 2 Eulas, 2 Itos in patch 2.3, and going forward there's going to be Ganyu Zhao giveaways, and probably at this point Shenhe will probably get given away too, some point down the line. All right, so if you guys want to step the tape with my content and participate in those giveaways, make sure to like and subscribe. That said, let's move into the first team, which I honestly think is the best team for Eula, and that is going to be, no, not this team, we'll get to this team a little later, this one. I have it titled here Eula Funnel. What does that mean? Think about it like a funnel, right? All the resources goes into Eula, and that's how Eula is essentially designed to be played around. She is an hyper carry who demands field time. Sure, she doesn't really need to be on field doing auto attacks all the time, but it's still beneficial to you to cycle through her elemental skill, especially for that second proc to give that huge burst of damage. And Eula definitely struggles to keep up with damage if you don't use her burst. So the idea is definitely to funnel as much resources back into her as possible. And now here Bennett can funnel attack, Raiden Shogun can funnel energy particles, and Zhongli not only provides her with the shielding as well as the all resistance shred, and of course you got super conduct on top of Zhongli's shield. So this is probably, I would say, the best team you can run with Eula, and this is proven as well as it is a very popularly used team in the current Spiral Abyss iteration, and it's been a staple since Raiden Shogun's release. So if you guys have this team, definitely try it out. It's a no-brainer. You can run Eula with the 4-piece Pale Flame, or you can run her with the 2-piece Bloodstain, 2-piece Pale Flame weapon. You can use the free-to-play, you can use the Wolf's Gravestone, or you can use her signature weapon. It doesn't really matter. Free-to-play weapon, of course you're gonna see less damage, and this perfectly flows well with her being just at C0. And yeah, go have some fun with this team. I guarantee you this is going to be the one that most people will run if you have this setup. Now moving forward, this is somewhat of a budget team. Now one of the things you guys will notice as I recommend certain Eula team is that she is very reliant on shielding. Now, there is a specific reason for this, because think of Eula's combat method like a dance. She cannot be interrupted, especially during her burst. And for people who understand Eula mechanics, is when you have her burst out, if you switch out, the burst immediately ends. So that could be used tactically as well. Sometimes if you know the damage threshold really well, you're able to cancel out of the burst skill without taking up excessive amount of time. So for example, the mob's gonna die with a 60k burst proc, but your full burst can do up to 200k. What is the point of doing the full 200k, right? Those are the things I'm talking about. But in order to have that flexibility during her burst state, you need a shielder to allow her to continuously charge up her burst uninterrupted, because every hit that you take, you do get staggered. And yeah, it's not a fun thing to happen to Eula, especially if you get chain CC'd with Eula. She's not particularly tanky, all right? As much as the character would have you believe, I mean, just look at her. There's no armor. It's just cloth. All right. Very easy to go down with Eula. People who have played her, you can comment down below and tell these new Eula players that to be careful. And that's why shielders are usually heavily suggested in Eula teams, unless you really know what you're doing. So this is going to be the Eula budget team for people who could not pair her with the Eula funnel team because you don't have Zhongli, right? So moving onward, yes, of course, I did not forget all you free-to-play players or players who literally probably just started the game last patch or possibly this patch, all right? Diona could be a tricky one here to figure out, but if you're going for Eula, you could run this team. Now, is this team phenomenal? Is this team something that you should be chasing after? Absolutely not, all right? If you have any of the variations that I showed prior, like this one, of course go with this one, but this is for the people, for those who are really struggling. And the concept here is very easy. Diona, it's a must-have. I'm willing to argue with people that Diona is a must-have because of that shield. That shield allows Eula to do what she needs to do, and trust me, in Spiral Abyss 12, even the Zhongli shield can get broken through fairly easily, so let alone a Diona shield. It's enough to get you by, but definitely you're still playing on the knife's edge here. And of course, you got the main character in Electro to support Eula, right? Superconduct, and you have Lisa, whom if you take advantage of her second talent, which can reduce the enemy's defense by 15%, along with Superconduct, you're getting quite a bit of resistance shred in order to deal more damage. And of course, for the MC, you're just here to funnel more energy particles back into Eula, and of course you are also providing electro particles for Lisa to cycle through, and you can see you got high voltage, and it's just a cycle in of itself, and it's actually quite efficient. Anyways, moving on to team 4. Now these are going to be some off meta teams. I'm going to use this and switch couple characters in and out to show you guys some of the things you can do with Eula, albeit not the most optimal. So this is definitely one of those variations. You have Eula, you have Ganyu, Bennett, Lisa. You don't have Diona, you don't have Zhongli. What are you gonna do? This team is definitely one variation you can play. Now, of course, we can switch a couple characters out. For example, if you do have characters like Kaya that you prefer, and then let's say you also have somebody like Rosaria, whom can also make a great pairing, or characters such as Beto can work well in pairs with Eula, as you can finish this team off with Diona and maybe Bennett at the end here if you want to funnel more power, and these two kind of take the field as a shared carry, right? This is a possible playstyle if you want to share more field time. You even have characters such as, where is she? One moment, there she is. Official, who can take the field and also heavily take advantage of that superconduct to deal great physical damage as well. But we're getting into certain territories where you're taking too much time away from Eula, but this could be thought of as you only switch into Eula to use her burst skill, and then you switch out, you go into official. So a completed version of this team could easily look something like this, right? This is a shared DPS team concept, and you do have the double cryo for battery. Also, you have Bennett as a buffer. You got superconduct, and you have two carries who can both take great advantage of the superconduct that you proc. So at the end of the day, there are definitely more variation teams, and I'm sure you yourself have certain teams down below. I'm just here to provide you some of the more meta teams that's been proven by meta players, data driven, and just simply known to work. And now I also offered you some variation teams to show you that Eula is not as simple as, hey, she can only play in this one way. Of course, she has variety, and this team, I definitely think is one of the more enjoyable ones. It actually has a bit of everything. You got your huge, hard-hitting characters, as well as the ranged, quick-hitting character, along with the spear character that can go in for some cool, fast-paced action in the melee stance. Finally, tying it all together by Bennett, who just buffs everything. All of these characters can scale really well with Bennett on the team. If we're talking about levels of fun, this team definitely wins it for me. But remember that the Eula funnel is a tested and proven team comp that is just so consistent and works so well, covers flaws for characters because Zhongli's shield just makes all your oopsies go away, much like me myself am about to do because we have reached the end of the video. Now, thank you guys for watching until the end. If you did make it all the way here, comment below, oh my Eula, because I just want to confuse people who don't make it to the end of these videos. With that said, people, tune into my live stream tonight where I am about to summon for 2 of the winners to my giveaways. Fingers crossed, wishing myself luck. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe and peace.